This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship class number 225. This topic, how to be more persistent, is very apropos at this point in the year, because I think most of us are preparing to really set our sails for the next portion of the year, so that when we end up at the end of this year, we will be where we wanted to be and where we said we would be when we started the year. So before we get started, let us do our meditation and prepare to receive the message. Let's just sit straight up in our seats for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, affirm, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. And let that peace just sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Once more. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram and on Facebook. You know, this topic is one that has always just fascinated me, because persistence is really the bridge between thought and accomplishment. If you are not persistent, you will not be successful. I love to open with a quote, and this is one that, if you've ever been out west to see the Grand Canyon, and can you imagine a hole in the ground a mile deep? There's a quote that says, a river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. A river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but its persistence. Dale Carnegie said something very powerful. He said, most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. And I chose this message today because I guarantee that many of us right now are experiencing resistance in our lives. As we come out of this pandemic mindset and move into a whole new mindset, which we must do, there are so many vibrations that says there's a wall, that you can't do this, you can't do that. And so persistence is that one thing that neutralizes all other things. Napoleon said that the man who is victorious is the one who's most persevering. Sometimes you win by refusing to lose. The definition of persistence is that persistence is a firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or operation. Persistence is a firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Our reference for this entire section is from the book, our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. Chapter 11 is devoted to persistence, and chapter 11 is the last chapter before chapter 12, which is the law of truth, because chapter 11 is that chapter that says, when all else is said and done, you must hang in there. You must not quit. You must go another round. When you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. So when we think about this and we realize that persistence is critical to success, let us look a bit at the spiritual foundation of this power tool that we have to make things happen in our lives. Sade, welcome. Sister, welcome. Okay, Smart, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Lorenzo, thank you for joining us. When we think about this idea of persistence, the spiritual foundation says, seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. Ask and it will be answered. The thing that it does not say is how long. The law of persistence says you do it until you get it. Thomas Edison discovered the light bulb because he continued to experiment and experiment and experiment. When you talk with virtually every successful person, they'll tell you that their greatest success often came right after the greatest challenges. That one of the things that they learn, and one of the things that you will learn, is that if you are experiencing a lot of difficulty in your life right now, a lot of challenges, that's okay, because that is the process. Before blessings comes sacrifice. Before growth comes challenge. And so persistence is that thing that makes you hang in there until you win. When we think about the spiritual definition of persistence, I like to look at 4 thoughts. The first is the I am principle. I am principle is the awareness of being, of who you are, of whose you are. And when we look at the harmonic universe, each of us is a vibration in this harmonic universe. Each of us has a relationship to this harmonic universe, and we exist as boats, as ships on the river of time. How we navigate our ship determines the level of success that we will have. Now, the beautiful of the law, as we say, the game says this, that every person is on the river of time. You have no choice about that. If you exist, you're on the river of time. How you navigate the river of time now depends on your ability to persist, to have hope, to have energy, to have plans. If you do not choose, and it's all about choose, if you do not choose to navigate the ship that is your life, the river of time will take you wherever it wants you to go. So you either go with the flow or create the flow. So let's look at this I am principle. It always comes down to the I am, the identification of who you are, the I amness, the vibration with your source, that I am the created being of an all-knowing, all-powerful source. We call it God, we call it universal principle, but I am just not an accident. I'm here for a purpose. So the I am, the awareness of being. If you don't know who you are, then you can't persist because you don't have a definition of who's doing the work. You see, the I am, the I is so critical in everything that you do. You have to know who you are. So the I am principle. 1, the I am, the relationship with your source. And then the second harmonic experience, which is I am the relationship with yourself. So to recognize that you are the created being of an all-powerful God. And 2, that you are in a harmonic relationship with yourself, that you understand who you are, that you feel good about yourself. Many of the failures that we experience in life is as a result of the fact that we're not clear on who we are. We may be just immersed in past failures, past disappointments, past relationships, that we never see the eagles that we are. So I am is that first aspect. I am awareness of being. The second aspect is I will. You see, I will is a statement of desire. The difference between mankind and all the other creations on the planet is that man has free will. Man has a will to do. You can steer your ship in accord with the flow so that you can get where you want to go. Or you can steer your ship where you're just going wherever the ship, the time wants to take you, and you end up living an unproductive, unmeaningful life. So the I will is that desire for something else, and you feel it inside. You see, the animals operate by instinct. They're very clear. If you notice, over the millions of years, the animals, the birds, that they've never built houses, they've never built skyscrapers, they've never created computers, because they operate by instinct. But mankind, hear the word mankind, operates from an inner spirit, an inner definition of something they want to be, do, and have. Each of you listening today, I guarantee you have a dream. You would not be up at this time of morning listening if you did not have a dream, if there was not a hunger inside you to be something, to do something, to have something. So the I will is that desire, that vibration to follow, to become something. The third is I see. And I see means that you must have a vision. We have a GPS inside of us, but that GPS is like the GPS in your car. If you do not have a goal, if you do not have a vision of yourself, then the GPS is worthless if you don't have a destination. And so in our lives, to live the lives that we were created to be, we have to have a vision of what that life is. The Bible, it always talks about the promised land. And sometimes people say, well, what is the promised land? The promised land is the land that you desire to live in, where you will be happy, where you will be fulfilled, where all the things that you desire will manifest in your life. And then finally, the fourth key is I do. See, the rubber hits the road. We can do all the oneness, the I am, the awareness of self. We can have visions of the things we want to be, to do, and to have. We can actually see those things in our imagination, but if we do nothing, it does not happen. If we look at these concepts, it really is tied in with 4 other principles, which is I am is like hope. The Arabian proverb says that he who has hope has everything. And so the I am is really your hope, that sense inside of you that there's something better. The I will is faith. Faith is your ability to see that which is not as though it is. You know, the scripture says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. There's a reason. Because it has not manifested yet on the material plane, but the fact that you have it in your mind means that you have the ability and the capacity to manifest it. I see is that aspect of, I see is that aspect of focus, that you see something. So I am is hope, I will is faith, I see is focus, and I do is action. So everything that you ever be, do, and have comes really based on those 4 things: hope, faith, vision, and action. That being the case, the question, of course, arises, why then are people not persistent? Why do people give up? Often one step, one blow away from victory. And people give up and quit often because of fear. There are many of us that fear criticism. Let me tell you something, folks. If you're not doing something that people are criticizing you for, you're probably not doing anything substantial. When people have negative things to say about you, especially people who aren't going anywhere, you'll find that successful people are very rarely critical. If they have any criticism at all, it is positive, uplifting criticism, criticism that can help you rise and overcome. Sometimes it's the fear of failure. We look at all the things that have happened in our past and we think that they will duplicate themselves. Failure has a way of sticking to you like glue. When you surround yourself with people who remind you of every failure you've ever had, wow, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It makes you throw in the towel and quit. Sometimes it's the fear of change. A lot of people, though they may have a dream in their minds, they have convinced themselves that where they are is all there is. We often tell the story of the dog sitting on the nail and whimpering and say, why doesn't the dog get off the nail? Because it doesn't hurt badly enough. But many people live their lives sitting on a nail of conformity, a nail of acceptance, a nail of mediocrity. And they'll sit on that nail and they'll accept that position in life and they'll live their entire lives sitting on the porch. So these three fears often make you give up and quit. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, and fear of change. When we get past those fears, the key to remember is this, is that anytime you are confronted with the challenge, with the things that you don't know how to handle, with what seems like amazing obstacles, there's a wall in front of you and you look at it and it seems so high, it's impassable. There's no way to get around it. There's no way to get over it. The Bible says, be still and know. And this is where this spiritual connection comes about. The moment you accept that I amness, that awareness of who you are and your relationship to the creator and the universe, then when you're confronted with a challenge, be still and know is let me be still and let me connect with the vibration that created me. You see, the moment you can be still and know and connect with that vibration, you develop that access now between your conscious mind, which is your conscious mind is the world you see around you, all the challenges, all the negativity, all the things that you don't want. Your subconscious mind is the seat of creativity, that whatever thought you put into your subconscious mind will manifest as reality. And then the superconscious mind is the God mind, the good mind. And so when you say be still and know, it's like, let me quiet my conscious mind and let me rest and let me focus on my superconscious mind. Let me be open and receptive to the creator that put me here. You see, this idea of meditation, of being still and knowing, creates a vibration within you now that can change everything. You see, the universe is created based on vibration. Manifestation is directly related to energy. E equals MC squared. Energy is vibration, desire, intent. And so the moment you be still and know, then you can make that connection now. It's like you go to the well of power and clarity will come so that you can now, instead of seeing that wall as an obstacle, your goal now is like, I don't need to tear the thing down. Let me find some trees and build a big ladder and climb up to the top of that thing. Man, once I get to the top of that wall, I can see further. And see, that's what going inside, that subconscious, that be still and know is all about. That when you can stop, and all of you who are listening today, when you're confronted with the challenges of life, stop. Get away from everybody around you, because the people around you probably reflect the same fears and situations that are slowing you down. birds of a feather flock together. And so if you're in a sea of failure, chances are everybody around you is in the same field. Y'all are swimming in the same pool. But when you can be still and know and disconnect from the outside, that's important. Disconnect from the outside and tune into that inner power within, you'll find a solution. You see, persistence is a learned skill. The essence of the Life Skill Institute is to teach you that the skills you need for success, you can learn them, you can practice them, and once you master them, the world is yours. That's the reason we wrote the book. That's exactly the reason we wrote the book, because these things have been known for ages. Our goal was just to connect to infinite intelligence, to let the energy, the information flow through. We just wrote it down. The knowledge was there. We just had the discipline to write it down, because once we wrote it down, then it's available to you now to help you as a guide to take you past the obstacles that you experience in your life. So persistence is a learned skill. And once you practice and perfect the skill of persistence, nothing is impossible. Back to the spiritual principle. Remember, it says, seek and you shall find. Once you master the skill of persistence, then there's nothing you cannot find. There's nothing, no door that can remain closed to you. There's no question that will remain unanswered. So the question now is, how do I develop the skill of persistence? How do I develop the skill of persistence? And from the 12 Universal Laws of Success, this section is page 190 and 191. Step 1, have a clearly defined, internalized vision of your purpose and a burning, deep desire for its realization. So you see now why meditation and being still is so important. If you do not have your purpose clearly in your mind, and when I say have a purpose, it's not just to say it, but it's to feel it. The first law of success says a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. And so this first foundation of persistence is to have a vision of your goal, of your dream, of your purpose. What do you want your life to look like? And those of you who are looking today, when you finish up, get a piece of paper and write down, what do I want my life to look like? A year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. What do I want my life to represent? Let me tell you something, folks. When you do that, you're literally laying out the foundation for a blueprint for success. And that deep burning desire is that I willness. You see, the I amness says, this is who I am. I'm a created being of an all-powerful God. I willness says there's something better for me. If it's not clearly defined and internalized in your senses, you can't create the vibration. Remember, E equals MC squared. You can't create the vibration to attract that which you're seeking into your life. Number 2, analyze your vision and break it down into specific goals. If you can't see it, you can't be it. So I see is critical. Analyze your vision. Once you've written your vision down, and when you write it down, think about, what do I want to do? List the things I want to do. How do I see myself? List the things about how you see yourself. What do I want to possess? List the things you want to possess. Who are the people I want to have around me? List the people you want to have around. You see, as you give this, another spiritual principle, the law of vision says this. The Habakkuk, one of the shortest chapters in the Bible, it says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets. Until you write the vision, you can't break it down into specific goals. But once you've written the vision and break it down into specific goals, these goals become the targets on which you focus. These goals become the target of the I will. So what you see is what you be. Step 3, have a definite plan expressed in continuous action to achieve each of your goals. And these step-by-step activities are the things that you do on a daily basis. You see, a vision can be for an appointed time, but the way that you get to that vision is by what you do today. In fact, what you do right now. So when you have that definite plan expressed in continuous action, and when you have it written, then you just follow the plan. That's the whole purpose for a plan. Once you've written the plan, you don't have to think about it and wonder about it anymore. You just execute. That way you don't stop for rest and reward too soon. Holidays are good, but you don't let them dominate. There are people, I take a week off for my birthday. Remember, you're on the river of time, so a week off, nobody's steering the ship. How's that working for you? Number 4, this is a critical one, folks. Have a friendly alliance with one or more people who encourage you to follow through with your plans or purpose. Sometimes you want to call it a formal mastermind group. We have a mastermind group that meets the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of every month. Thank you, HR specialist. What you see, you be. Might not be great English, but it sure makes good sense. Thanks for your comments. So this friendly alliance is critical. The spiritual principle. When 2 or more are gathered on one accord, I am. Once again, the awareness of being. So when 2 people get together to discuss a particular goal, a particular outcome, it generally explains the outcome. When you have 2 or more operating on one accord, each person brings their own experience, their own level of exposure and knowledge and education. So now you can create a bigger vision for both of you, or for the 3 of you, or for the group of you. This is a power tool, folks. There's a lot of knowledge that is inaccessible by yourself. You see, we're always in a battle against our egos. And there's certain knowledge that you have to have other people involved to access that knowledge, because otherwise it is very easy when you operate from an ego base, when you, for example, when you recognize some of the great orators, the Hitlers of the world, recognize that they have a great power, a great ability to move people. And there are people today who have that same power, have that ability to move people, even move people against their own self-interest. And so that ego thing will make you follow that, can permit you to follow that kind of path. And then you attract people who confirm the ego that you're projecting. So it works in a positive or negative way. If you're surrounded by people who don't believe in you, who don't honor your dream, who don't uplift you and encourage you to accomplish the things that you want to have, be, and do. If you're around a sea of critical people who are always criticizing whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, it's never good enough, that will undermine your vision. You have to get away from that. Step 5, this is a biggie, folks. Decide once and for all that failure is just a temporary pause and not a destination. You see, failure is a dress rehearsal for success. The more you fail, the better you get. He who has not failed has probably not accomplished anything important. So to fail proves that you're trying. Every failure is a lesson to be learned. So there are no more failures, there are only lessons. You literally fail your way to success. A young man once asked a very powerful, successful lady, what's the key to success? She said, right decisions. He asked her again, well, how do you make right decisions? By experience. He said, well, what's the key to getting experience? And she said, wrong decisions. And so we make right and wrong decisions, but when we've cast it in the attitude in a sea of understanding and lesson, so that everything that happens to us teaches us a lesson to help us get better, to help us fly higher. It's not how many times, this is from page 190, it's not how many times you stumble down, It's the number of times you pick yourself up off the ground and keep moving on to meet your goals. Number 6, to realize that something for nothing is an illusion. Everything of value, you have to put forth effort to obtain it. When people solve their money problems by hitting the lottery, if their level of consciousness, if their I amness, if their awareness is not commensurate and congruent with the millions of dollars that they win, a large percentage of them lose the money. So that idea of something for nothing is an illusion, to recognize that you must always add value to receive value. You must always put in the work to receive the benefit. The only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Number 7, persistence requires action. So stop wishing your life away. There are a lot of people that have a wishbone instead of a backbone. So instead of doing the things that must be done to achieve the success, they wish about it. They talk about it. They brag about it. Change your wishbone to a backbone. Have faith in yourself, in the process, in God, in your vision, in your purpose. You see, when you have that type of faith that is confirmed by action, nothing is impossible. There's a beautiful phrase that says, it's not the size of the dog in the fight that counts so much as the size of the fight in the dog. It's the size of fight in you that really matters as you strive to reach your goals and realize your vision and achieve your purpose. And finally, number 8, do it now. Do it now. The only time that exists on the river of life, the river of time, is now. Now, tomorrow is a promissory note. Yesterday is a canceled check. Today, now, this moment is legal tender. Nothing ever happens tomorrow. Everything always happens in the present. So all that really truly matters is determined by what you do today. And so to ask yourself that question, when we're on the river of time, the question is always, what is the best use of my time right now? When I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose. So my friends, let us summarize what we've done today. You can become more persistent, and persistence is the key to your success. Persistence is a learned skill, a skill that you can learn, you can practice, you can master. That you can take these 9 rules for achieving success and understand them in the terms of the 4 keys: the I am, the awareness of who you really are and your connection to your source; the I will, the level of desire and faith in you, faith in your ability to manifest that you desire; the I see, the vision of who you are, of what you want, of the life you want to live through focus; and then I do, to take action. Chapter 7 in this book is the law of action. Without that chapter, without that principle, it will not happen. And finally, those 8 keys to help you develop the habit of persistence. 1, to have clearly defined internalized vision of your purpose and a burning desire for its realization. Number 2, analyze your vision, break it down into specific goals. Number 3, have a friendly alliance with 1 or more people who encourage you to follow through with your plans and your purpose. Number 5, decide once and for all that failure is just a temporary pause and not a destination. Number 6, to realize that something for nothing is an illusion, there's a harmonic exchange of value. Number 7, to stop wishing your life away. Convert your wishbone to a backbone. It's about what you do, not what you desire alone. And then finally, number 8, to be committed to do it now, to take immediate action on whatever opportunities, challenges, experiences confront you at this moment. When you can do these things, you can develop your art of persistence, and that will help you be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, and have whatever you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Let's just take a deep breath for a moment. Just let it out. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, covering success topics from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And if you don't have it, get it. This book will change your life forever. Go to our website, learn more about our programs. Go to www.herbertharris.info and look at our link tree. Tap our link tree in our profile. But go to herbertharris.info and look at some of the things we do, some of the things we have, and some of the ways that we can help you follow your dreams and realize your purpose. And so it is. Thank you so much for being with us. See you again next week, same time, every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. We will be here. You don't have to wonder. We're like the sun. Please like our broadcast and share your comments. And once we post it, we'd love to hear some of the things you feel about it and hear about some of the ways you've been able to use the principles that we talk about to transform your lives. Welcome, Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us today. My favorite personal trainer. Take care, folks. Make it a magnificent week. So it is.